What's up, everybody? Here we go again for the conclusion of Fang's storyline. Now, technically, he has 2 stages left from this point, but they're both so short I figured I'll just go ahead and knock them out now. Now, remember, you get this set of levels by rescuing the research center after stage 1, and obviously we just surrendered at the end of stage 4. Also, it seems that Deadeye Joe has a bit of a Vegeta complex going on, but regardless, we've got our gun back, with all its upgrades no less. Now, the inside of the train looks like a daunting task, but it's easily nerfed by hanging from the ceiling. The only thing you have to worry about is when the soldiers jump over the barricades at you, which can be stopped by, you guessed it, killing them before they do that. So, straight out of the holding cell car, and we run into this mini-boss. 2 giant robot torsos with a huge cannon for, well, let's just say it's hanging from their torsos. Sure, that sounds good. Anyway, the center platform is the key. Avoid the shots, and as soon as one is destroyed, the other is going to start bouncing around the area, which is easy enough to dodge. All in all, they go down without much of a fight. And we're finally half of the way there. As you make your way across this railing, just make sure not to still be holding the down button from shooting at the guys when you jump, otherwise you'll fall off. And yes, I'm speaking from quite a bit of experience with that. Anywho, once we make it past that little ordeal, we come up to another mini-boss, if you care to call this thing that. It kinda reminds me of the fake capsule boss from Sonic & Knuckles at the end of Act 1 in the Flying Battery Zone. You remember, the one that you had to make hit itself? Same concept here, except this is a little less dangerous and time-consuming. Anyway, with that out of the way, we've made it to the friggin' boss of this stage already. And it's pretty damn cool if I do say so myself. Actually, I think I've said that about a number of things in this game. Anyway, this giant robot here is a bad motherfucker. I mean, just look at that. It stopped the fucking train. Also, don't be fooled by the background effects. He's not actually picking the damn thing up. Just a background scrolling issue type deal. Now, as for attacks, this guy has plenty, most of which can be avoided using our trusty slide maneuver. Now, one of his harder attacks to avoid is this one. He tilts the car back just a bit and launches these little red and blue bullets that roll down it at a pretty good pace. Don't use the slide here, whatever you do. It's too unpredictable, and your invincibility frames from it will most likely run out while you're on one of those little bullets. Just take your time, plan your jumps, and move on. After this phase, he's going to climb up on top of the car with his homing missiles become a little harder to avoid. His jumping back and forth and little kick maneuver, however, not so much. Now here's an interesting point of interest. An interesting point of interest, that makes sense, sure, why not? His little attack where he slams his fist down and creates those traveling flames. Just remember that only the lead flame can harm you. In other words, you can stand in the rest all you want. Nifty little bit of overlooked programming there. Also, I think the train just hit him in the crotch. Yeah, I'd fall apart after that one too. Regardless, that's the end of this short but sweet stage, and now we've finally arrived at Fang's finale. Now, contrary to what you might think, judging by the background, we're still not on the train. We've infiltrated Mr. Bahamut's other fortress. How many hideouts does a guy really need? I mean, come the fuck on. Anyway, aside from this opening area here, which is pretty cool by the way, what with the alien experiments popping out of their containers at you and all that, but other than that, this stage is comprised of 2 mini-bosses and the final boss. Speaking of, here's our first little mini-boss. Deadeye Joe is back for revenge, and he's piloting a giant ball of mechanical junk. Seriously, that's what this is. It's junk. Also, note the extremely well-done voice clip there. Yeah, right. Anyway, this is kind of a letdown for one of the penultimate bosses. His first phase is ridiculously easy, even if he does move faster with the more damage he's taken. His second phase is also piss easy, as he moves around so slowly across the room. I mean, come on. His final phase looks and sounds dangerous, but if you remember your slide, he'll never touch you. At all. Ever. So pretty much just slide, shoot, slide, shoot. Do this enough times and Deadeye Joe is down. But not for good. But what's this? The big dog himself makes an appearance. And that's it. Now Deadeye Joe is down for the count. Obviously, Fang, being the loyal mutt that he is, has problems with Bahamut's, well, lack of loyalty. So with that, we head to the final mini-boss. And what badass mechanical monstrosity is it you're asking? Why, it's Dr. Mandrake. And as a sign of thanks for helping him, the Colonel turns him into a frog crab spider thing. Really? This is the best the designers could come up with. It's also partly because of this that I'm severely disappointed with this story arc. I mean, two of the major villains are reduced to stupid on its basic level. Deadeye Joe and his ball of junk, and the Frog Doctor. Come on, I just felt they could have done a little better with that. Anywho, the Doctor isn't all that hard. Just remember to slide around all his energy attacks that he sends at you, if you even need to, and he should go down without much of a fight. But with those two lackeys out of the way, we can finally make our way to the top floor and face Bahamut himself. Oh dear, Mr. Bahamut has been a bad boy. Essentially, he joined his body with the alien cell. Gives him the nifty ability to shoot electricity out of his body and transform into a giant gorilla thing surrounded by blue fire. So it's pretty much something straight out of a Japanese anime. He only has 3 attacks in this form. He'll jump into a corner of the room and shoot crap at the opposite corner. Very deadly if you're a moron. Second, he'll fire off a signature anime move, and finally his super fast dash attack, which is pretty difficult to dodge, let me tell you. But I digress. Once you damage him enough, we see a move that happens every fucking time somebody joins their body with an alien. The alien part takes over. Big surprise. And just to pull a dick move on Mr. Bahamut for thinking he could control the alien transforms him into this dick neck monster thing. Wondering about the name? Just wait for it. There it is. That's so naughty. Now, he only has 2 attacks in this form, 1 for each head. The first is easy enough to dodge, but the second can be a problem even if you use the slide. The trick is luring him either far away or into making a circle with his neck. Otherwise, he's going to crowd you out of the breathing space and kill you. Regardless, he should only have time to do this attack once or twice. So even if you hit him, even if you take a hit, it's not that big of a deal. Also, be careful when he jumps around. His body is rather large and hard to get around, obviously. But with enough damage done, he transforms into one of the Contra alien signature forms, a heart, surrounded by a lot of creepy heads. The trick here is the more you damage him, the further away from the heart those heads will fly. Which means simply that you do little bits of damage at a time and you'll be fine. Shoot the heart enough, and surprisingly, it dies. And that's the name of that tune. We're treated to a so-so ending sequence in my book. Bahamut's Black Fortress is leveled, and the character rides off towards the camera on his airbike while the credits roll. Nothing special, but not too terribly bad either. It's satisfying either way, and all the loose ends are really wrapped up. This is considered the good ending. Anyway, as always, I'm going to leave you with the credits, as they're long and pretty boring. Plus, we've seen them twice now already. Regardless, we've only got one more story arc to wrap up. So join me next time as we lead Sheena to the end of the story, and the best ending there is. This is BMS. Catch you later.